Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our friend here, Don Wittman, joining us not only live on the podcast, but here on the Zoomcast. Welcome back today. How are you doing?
Very good. Yeah, having a nice day today. The sun's out, starting off okay.
Good. Well, pleasure to have you here. I mean, a man with many titles. Also, we got to talk about you as an author. I know there's a lot to you. For those that may have never met you yet, have seen you yet, let's start off with a little introduction as to what you do at Wittman Technology and a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get to our notes for sure.
Basically, I'm an IT techie. I used to be a chief technology officer. After one of the layoffs, I decided to try and find a new job, and I found LinkedIn and learned how to re-engineer it. And I've been helping people get jobs and helping individual professionals find business since then. And it's sort of been a lot of fun.
Awesome. And hold on, got to talk. Wait a second. So if we're going to talk about today why LinkedIn isn't working for some, right? But LinkedIn is one of the most, what would you describe LinkedIn as? Because it's really the go-to spot. How would you describe LinkedIn in general?
LinkedIn is really a professional exchange of where people get to meet other people, whether it be for looking for jobs, looking for work, and helping, basically helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically basically a directory of professionals for professionals by professionals, and it's actually, originally it was set out for job seekers, then it was individual professionals. Now it's with Sales Navigator, it's for a lot of sales. So it's basically a site for professionals, and allows professionals to be more successful because they look to find other professionals. It's basically a professionals exchange, and it works. And it's a search engine just like Google is, except it's to find people instead of find different things.
Got it. All right. And also, just to point out, you are a Wall Street Journalist bestselling author, which is one of the two most prestigious bestseller lists in the world. I have to remind everyone of that. Also, you're number one on the Barnes & Noble's bestselling author as well. You've hit number one of the entire store. Impressive. And on Amazon, number one also as well, in all categories. Outsold Stephen King's book on writing, which really is not a simple feat. So congratulations on that. And just remind us how we can reach out to you, and then we'll begin today's show. Thank you.
Sure. My email is don@Wittman Technologies, or you can go to my site, wittmantechnologies.com. And if you want the cheat email, it's don@linkedinguy.com, which is easier to remember.
Awesome. Got it. All right. So let's talk. What is happening? Why isn't LinkedIn working for me? People are saying that.
Well, LinkedIn's been trying to change and morph to address the needs of more people. And with all those changes, a lot of people haven't been able to keep up because you put your profile up 2 years later, it doesn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to keep it up, particularly if you're an independent professional, that the need to have your LinkedIn profile correct, have your right sets of keywords so that they can find you, laid out the right way, have the right amount of graphics and video on it. Just keeps people interested in your profile, and it's become much more competitive. And people says, well, it worked 2 years ago. Again, it doesn't work today, and that's because of all the changes. And LinkedIn will continue to change. I mean, just like Google changes every few years, most people don't know about that because most of the Google changes are for people who advertise and stuff. But on LinkedIn, there's tremendous amount of search changes in the last few years. And in order to stay findable or searchable, you need to keep up. And like just to give you, LinkedIn just changed the size of many of its fields and how the fields rank. And and LinkedIn being a search engine, right? It's basically, search is basically points. When someone puts keywords into there and you do a search, LinkedIn basically assigns points to it, and then you show up in search point based. And because of the changes, all of a sudden those points, the way the points used to work, don't work now. And that's what I've been help a lot of people do, whether it be, job seekers, executive job seekers, independent professionals, lawyers, businesses. How do you get people to find you to basically get more work? I mean, today people, used to be when you found a job or you were looking for more business, you basically talk to your friends. Yeah, I need a lawyer, so let me go talk to my friend who knows about lawyers. People don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That kind of social interaction between people has been dramatically reduced.
Yeah.
And how do you find it? Well, you want to go to a business to business site where you can do a search and find the services you need. And that's really what LinkedIn provides. I mean, there's more specific job sites for just legal and for just individual professionals, but in general, LinkedIn is the general place to go look for people who will provide services or are looking for a job. And that is a true place to do it. And and people don't want to basically drive people nuts, say, well, who's a lawyer I should go to, who's this and who's that. People are afraid to give out recommendations, right? Because you may lose a friend over if they don't like it. So something like LinkedIn is a much easier way to do it. You can find, you can use the keywords and find something that's actually more specific instead of more general. So that is why people are using it, and that's why people have to keep updating it so that it's appropriate and they can be found as time progresses.
And by the way, for those who don't know your background, since it's our first Zoom, can you just establish what brought you into this field specifically, and how did you find this niche with LinkedIn, with communication, with what you do? And then we'll talk about what we need to do, of course, to fix how we can fix our LinkedIn to work for us. But just a little more about yourself, if you don't mind.
Sure. I mean, I've been working, since I was 13. I went to college for an engineer. I used to be a handyman as my working for time I was in college. I came into IT. I worked as a field service engineer. I worked as a software development manager. I ran QA parts of MCI. I ended up going to Philip Morris to run their security, their global IT security. I was a co-chair for that. Then I went to Priceline. I ran architecture and engineering, and then was a CTO at Virtru, which is a online marketing company. So I've been online for a long time and doing IT. The reason I came to this is during the beginning of the Obama recession. Not that I'm blaming Obama, but at that time period, a lot of people were out of work. A lot of executives were out of work, and I said, well, I got to look for a job. Here's LinkedIn. This is this new thing. Let me see how it works, because recruiters said they really didn't have anything and stuff like that. And it was tough finding a job back then. There was a lot of people out of work. Not to say it wasn't the same thing during COVID and stuff like that, but my thing was, okay, let's figure out how this works. Let's try to find a job. And I basically reverse engineered how LinkedIn search works. And basically and once I did that, I started looking for a job for myself and helping other people. Part of I mean, I lived in a small neighborhood and everybody helped everybody. So this is my way as I really enjoyed that. So this is my way of helping people find a new job, find additional work. And it's much more gratifying than some of the, just doing IT stuff anymore. You're helping people. You have a connection. So that's kind of where this all came from. And people have been very grateful. People have given me, accolades on how to do it, particularly in my area that I live in Connecticut, particularly in Connecticut. I'm like, looking for a job. Everybody knows my name. So it's kind of fun. And I not only do I help people on a paid basis, I also give back, helping people who can't pay. I've done webinars for over 100,000 people, and probably 98% of those were for free, helping people find jobs. And the other people that can afford help, I help those and help them land a job, sometimes 2 or 3 times faster. And so that makes and I help people find more business and stuff. So it pays for itself, particularly if you're an executive or an independent professional. And if you're an independent professional, the biggest thing is, what's my next gig? Right?
Yeah.
If you're working a job, right? You're working for a job. You're not necessarily, you always have to be looking for your next job. But if you set up your LinkedIn profile right and use what I call what I use a pull methodology, the system is working for you, and you don't have to work as hard to find that, because people will be able to find you better for what you do. So that's the whole idea of why I do my strategies behind LinkedIn is, chasing recruiters, chasing potential companies and things like that is really hard. LinkedIn is meant for search, right? To find other people. If you set it up right, set your profile up right, or set up your company page right, people can find you, and you can basically work on your job, and work as an independent professional or work as a lawyer, and people will be coming in and says, "Hey, I saw your LinkedIn profile, yada yada. I'm interested in this." So you can have people come to you instead of you chasing them, which is a much lower level sell, much easier way of doing business. And you're for an independent professional, you have more business and less downtime. So it's all in all, it can be, if done properly, very profitable.
Yeah. Wow. All right, back to LinkedIn. I'm sorry, we were on a roll here, but it's your first Zoom. We didn't get to establish much about you yet, so it's important to learn everything. We're talking about mostly today why LinkedIn really isn't working and what we could do to maybe fix it a little bit. And we can talk more about, of course, the book you have on LinkedIn too.
Yeah, I mean, fixing people's profiles is really the biggest mistake people have. LinkedIn is a search engine, right? At its very lowest level, it's a search engine. And like most people, people don't really understand that you have to give the search engine what it wants in order for you to be found. And that's, a lot of times there's quite a few pieces. Sometimes it's the keywords for the position. Sometimes it's, oh, I only work with a person who's, an Ivy League professional, or is this, that, and a few other things, or is only done this for this many years, or has done it for 30 years. You can do all that on LinkedIn, and you can narrow down what you want. So what my book does, the one that's out there now, and some of the other ones, the Ignite Your LinkedIn Profile, which is my main LinkedIn book it's basically, in general, it tells you how to write your profile. It basically gives you, a done for you, a done with you type thing, where this is what you got to do to make it work. Okay. It's a do it yourself kind of thing. It gives you all the steps, gives you all the pieces, gives you the reasons why you're doing it, which is also important. People don't always tell you why you should do it. And so that you can use the pull methodology. And that basically, if you walk through it and you do all the steps as the book says, you're going to, you'll do very well. Yeah. The book also comes out, a new version actually comes out every year, because LinkedIn keeps changing. We talked about LinkedIn always making changes. I mean, I at least release a new version every year, if not twice a year, because LinkedIn keeps making all these changes. So doing the pull methodology has been very successful for lots and lots of people. And it's, if you do what, even the reviews say, if you do what Don says, it's going to work. Right? You don't have to worry about it. Just do what he says in the book. Don't think too hard. Do what he says. Right? People who try to take shortcuts, it doesn't work. You're feeding a machine, right? Computers don't care who you are, what you are, or anything else. It cares about what you give it, right? It's a computer program, and it likes for you to give it the things it needs to do what it's supposed to do. So giving it keywords, giving it a good, people choose a picture, which is something that LinkedIn asks you for. I mean, that's the human part of people make a decision. But finding you is a mechanical thing on LinkedIn. So you have to feed the beast, right? And doing so, and the way I tell people to do it, does it well. I mean, I just finished up doing a LinkedIn profile upgrade for a senior executive, and he's ranking. We do 10 sets of keywords, for him, and 7 out of the 10 ranks number 1 for his profession and what he's looking for. That is what you need to do. Basically you're on page 1 if you're looking for what he's doing, and you get found on LinkedIn. The search engine works for you. That's what it's about. Being on the first page, because typically, today we're in the land of instant gratification, right? It's, we used to, 10 years ago, you had like 45 seconds where someone will look at it and try and decide, what am I going to do? What does this really mean and stuff? Today, people's attention span is really down to about 5 seconds, right? If you don't grab them in 5 seconds, they're going to go to the next page or do something else. So your profile has to be early on. The average person who's on LinkedIn who does a search typically doesn't go past like the first dozen people on the page. So in order to be found on LinkedIn, you have to be searchable, and you have to show up in the first 10 to 20 people, first 2 pages, basically. And you have to have the things that people want. So having a properly filled out set of keywords, the profile description, your past successes, things like that. That's what people are looking for. Now you have to convince the person at the other side that once you win the search, right? Once you're a number that they look at your profile and you win the search, right? You have to convince them that you're the right person, right? Just don't list all these things with bullet points and stuff going, what's that? Oh God, do I really have to go through all this? You have to make it simple. You have to make it, engaging so people think you're the right person and think you can provide the right set of services. And once you do that, it's really easy, and the picture, I talk about the picture a lot. 80 to 90% of people on LinkedIn says you come up and search, but the first person I look at is the picture I like, the thing I can get along with. So, there's a lot of personal things in there. Because people like, understand pictures. People are visual. So you have to solve the visual problem first, which is the picture. Then you have to solve the problem when they're going through your profile is their interest, right? Third thing is, can you do what I want? Give me an example that says, yeah, I can do this for you. Then, you give them the history, why this is the case. It's just like you're having a conversation of, why should I buy XYZ car, right? The same thing applies. Do you like what it looks like? Well, do I like looks of a person, right? Does it do what I want? Yes, because it has a keywords. It's an SUV. Is it a sedan? Is it an EV? Is it a pickup truck? You're answering the same questions in your LinkedIn profile as if you're trying to buy any product or use any product. It works the same way. So that's why having information, having the search engine work the way it does, that way LinkedIn does, and meeting the search engine needs will make you successful on LinkedIn, and therefore will attract more potential clients or the appropriate recruiters. I got to take
Makes
a sip
sense.
real quick.
Go ahead. Me too. Hold on. What are you drinking? I'm doing coffee in a straw. What do you do?
This is just water. I had my
Okay.
coffee earlier.
I got both.
I had to cut myself off after 2 cups.
I'm on 1. I'll go for the second of my break today. Good.
LinkedIn is really a tool that if you know how to use it, which my book helps you with, and the one book is really job seekers and independent professionals, it works very well. I'm getting ready to launch another book for just independent professionals. Just okay, independent professionals is a little different. People say, well, how do you adjust it? It's can't be the same, yada yada yada. So I'm gonna focus it down and just say, hey, these are the exact things you need to be found as an independent professional and to attract your potential clients without you doing what's called a push. There's two types of methods on LinkedIn really to find work as an independent professional. One is what's called a push method. You go out and contact everybody and see who responds. That's like trying to fill up your email box. And everybody hates all the stuff from your email box. They'd rather get more focused stuff. So the pull methodology is you put stuff in something like LinkedIn, Google, or some other social media, and they come to you. And if you do it properly, you'll get valid leads. And that is really what, the individual professional or the job seeker wants is give me good quality leads, right? It makes the job much easier. People are much more interested if you have a really valid lead, and it really works better and simpler because you're not getting frustrated. You have I have a nice clean lead. Only a certain percentage work, but it's a pretty valid lead. People have searched you, you had the criteria, they've gone through it, and it's worth a discussion instead of, having an email or a contact that really is random and is not worthwhile. So the idea is getting focused leads, doing the job easy, and making progress with it, and not driving yourself crazy with, responding to everybody that really, and a lot of them are really not going to work for you. So it's all, so it comes out to taking care, quality, and speed of doing business, and doing the pull methodology that I suggest helps you with not wasting your time and getting valid contacts and valid business. And that's really what it was. I mean I did it for a lawyer a couple of years ago. I do lawyers every so often. I'm actually working with a law firm now, but the idea is you you fix your profile. He went from ranking 100 and something on LinkedIn for his service to linking within the top 10. And he says, I don't even have to, I'm not doing any outreach anymore. They're coming to me. So the methodology works if done properly. And, the searcher on LinkedIn or on social media or Google is happy. I mean, your LinkedIn profile, if you have a good LinkedIn profile, it also is searchable. You also you can search on Google for it as well. Most LinkedIn profiles rank very well on Google. So if you have a good LinkedIn profile, Google and LinkedIn have agreed to allow each other to scrape and have that information available to search on Google. So you're sort of killing two birds with one stone. And again, it's the keywords, right? Google is all about the keywords, right? There's no metadata in your LinkedIn profile, so you have to use keywords. And that works very well. So you can not only be searchable on LinkedIn with a good keyworded profile, but you're also searchable on Google. And killing two birds with one stone, doing it properly the way I suggest, is very beneficial to everyone, and it helps you be found, because other search engines use a lot of the information that's on Google as well, and LinkedIn is one of them. Is scraped by almost every search engine. So it's, it's searched by Microsoft, it's searched by Yahoo, it's done by others to get the information. So you're actually in many places if you do it right.
Got it. All right. We still got 3 minutes left here. What else do you want to share in our last few minutes of the show?
Well, I really like people to, if you're interested in
I was going to sneeze. Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Try to hold it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
If I yawn, it goes away.
That's a way to deal with it. So, if people are interested or, want to talk about it, they can either get my book, send me an email. But this is a very interesting way of doing business. And, a lot of people use LinkedIn for job search and for sales. It's really a B2B type system, or C2B, consumers trying to go to businesses, particularly for, independent professionals like insurance, for lawyers, for many other kinds of services, right? Even doctors and stuff are on there now. Medical services are on there now. So you can find just about everything. And using these tools, you can get reviews on there, how people rank different stuff. So it's really a consumer to business to business type site that helps people find things faster and with more information, right? If you look at a Google search, it gives you very little. LinkedIn gives you a lot more information where you can make a better decision, and it helps everyone do their job better and more successful. That's why I spend so much time doing LinkedIn. Is not only am I helping people, the site itself is basically designed to do the same thing. It's designed people to do a better job and have better understanding who their potential clients and customers can be, and who consumers want to do business with. So it's a great kind of thing. So that's why I see that people want to know more about how to do this. They can contact me, and we can have a chat about it using my email. I guess you should use the easy one, don@linkedinguy.com, and I'm glad to talk about it with you and help you understand why this is the place to be today, and and not just guess.
And well, thank you so much. And remind us how we could reach you, please.
Sure, you can reach me on my website, which is wittmantechnology.com. It's no H and two T's. And Wittman is the German way of spelling it. Again, my business email is don@wittmantechnology.com, or the cheat email is don@linkedinguy.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Looking
forward to the next time we speak. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.